What's going on, guys? This is Jason of All Political. I swim through the politics so you don't drown too. I am just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. So, Representative Jim Jordan just posted over on Twitter breaking: due to all our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. But that's not all. So I'm going to read through this thread and I'm going to give my thoughts on this because this actually affects a lot of people, a lot of content creators, including myself at one point. But let's keep going. YouTube, amidst the Biden administration's censorship pressure, was unacceptable and wrong. Confirms that the Biden administration wanted America censored for speech that did not violate YouTube's policies. Details when YouTube began rolling back its censorship policies on political speech after Judiciary GOP began its investigation. Of course, because they got their hands caught in the cookie jar. States that public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities. Promises to never use third party fact checkers. Oh, yeah, but okay. Warns that Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threatens American speech. Now, let me just add really quickly to this. For those of you who I'm guessing are not aware, for a very long time, or should I say for the 4 years that Biden was in the White House, there was this thing where the left was just going batshit crazy with a power trip, and they did not want anybody questioning things. Not conspiracy nuts. I can't stand them either. Not conspiracy nuts, but just you could not say nothing about COVID. You could not speak badly about Fauci. You could not speak badly about the government. In fact, do you guys remember when they rolled out I'm sorry. When you say they roll out, you think that you're gonna say the person's gonna say roll out a feature. Remember when they rolled out removing a feature such as the like button on the like meter, so you could not tell how many likes or dislikes was on a video, and we know the reason for why they did it was because the Biden administration did not like the fact that whenever Biden came out and did whatever, and then they would sit there in line say he had a good press meeting and all of this shit, people was able to see the videos that the American people didn't like it. There wasn't enough bot farms to like the videos. There weren't enough fucking lefties because let's be real here, lefties aren't going on the videos of Biden. They get their news from what they hear from, what they hear their marching orders. They don't watch fucking Biden on YouTube. They don't even do any of that. Right? They get their politics and shit from other people. So we already knew all of this shit was happening. Over the past few years, we have uncovered massive scandals relating to big tech censorship. During the Biden-Harris shares, under White House pressure, YouTube changes policies to censor political debate on COVID and elections. Today, YouTube admits that the censorship pressure from the Biden administration was unacceptable and wrong, but you went along with it any fucking way. And I guarantee you, the only reason why they're doing this now, I'm just gonna sit here and say it has something to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination because this is just how I feel. Right now, isn't Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, aren't all of them being called up to meet in front of Congress right now because the environment that they they helped uh foster or whatever the fuck it is, the environment that they push up, they don't allow people to have different opinions, so you get people that get frenzied because they promote certain types of individuals on there, right? So when you got content creators who are able to say just the craziest shit, or even late night TV hosts who are able to sit there and say that the person who shot Charlie Kirk was conservative, blatant fucking lies, and then calling the president a Nazi. And they don't believe that they don't believe that the president's a Nazi. They don't believe that we're fascists or anything like this. In fact, they act more like Nazis and fascists than the side that they project onto. But they do that so they can dehumanize people. They can dehumanize them because once you dehumanize a person, you don't care if violence is done upon them. You don't care if you kill them or unalive them, as the young kids say. And YouTube, Facebook, Twitch has a really, really bad problem where they're very heavy handed on one side, like YouTube right now is being caught in with their hands in the cookie jar. They're very heavy handed on one side, but the other side gets away with bullshit 24/7. So, not surprising. Now, to make amends to the American people and because of our work, YouTube is rolling back its censorship policies on political speech, including topics such as COVID and elections. What does that mean? Whether you was an established YouTube presence with a massive following like Don Bongino, or just were starting out to express political views there, you will have an opportunity to come back onto the platform if you were censored for engaging in political speech. Now, let me just sit here and say, I'm gonna just throw my hat into this and say this, all right? For those of you who been behind my channel, right? This is not the first channel of All Political. There was All Political. Okay. Before, so my first channel got deleted from YouTube and it got banned or whatever the fuck it was. And it was red. That channel was red fucking hot. Right now, I can barely even get 10 views on my videos, right? I was covering the riots. I was covering political shit. I was covering, still doing the shit that I was doing now, but I was much more raw with it, right? I averaged like 3,000 views a video, right? Um, some videos was hitting 20,000 views. I was getting like 20 something subscribers a day. The channel lasted about 9 months and technically lasted like 6 months, probably a year. But okay, this is how it went. The channel was normal. Then it started to grow. Then it blew the fuck up. And then on the last legs, YouTube started to suppress me. And I knew YouTube was suppressing me because I was no longer able to sign in. I was getting all of these views, I was getting all these subscribers, and then it just fucking stopped, right? It just completely stopped. And then I started getting strikes for videos that's been on the channel for months. And so for those of you that don't know, when you get a strike on a YouTube video, it takes 3 months for you to get rid of that strike, right? If you get 3 strikes, no questions, your channel's gone, right? I had gotten 2 strikes. So my way of getting rid of those strikes was I didn't upload. So the last 6 months or 5 months or whatever the hell it was of that channel, I didn't upload anything new. And I was waiting for the strikes to go away. And this is how I know this was done on purpose. Every single time a strike went away, at the same exact time in the middle of the night, like 12:50, literally 12:59. I don't know if this shit was automated. I don't know if somebody made the call. Oh my, and mind you, and the craziest thing about it is I'm saying this like as though I was some big hot shot. I'm not. My first channel wasn't, right, but it was red hot. This is not an exaggeration. I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. My old channel was fucking red hot. Again, I was the last video I uploaded was on Dr. Phil, and you had a trans activist named Elon Ehrlich or whatever the hell its name was. And basically in the video, I was basically sitting there saying, and I was giving props to the mothers who were standing up for their children because nobody else was caring about their children being forcefully transitioned without the parents even knowing about it. And I guess they just did not like me speaking out. Of course, they didn't like me speaking about it. But of course, this was a whole bunch of other things. So they could easily be like, oh, well, this channel goes completely against what we want. I doubt this was the Biden administration purposely pointing out. It could have been. Who fucking knows? Because we already know that the Biden administration was targeting fucking small channels too. They did not care. It was very authoritarian. Like, they did not fucking care. They didn't care if you had thousands of subscribers. They didn't care if you had 10 subscribers. If you put a spotlight on their bullshit, they wanted to erase you. Be glad. Be glad the left didn't really get power. Like the way that they wish that they could, like the way that these nut jobs who can't take somebody having a different opinion of them, a different view, firmly placed in reality, mind you, compared to their fucking perspectives. Be glad those individuals don't have power, because if they really did, they would have done a lot more than just removing YouTube channels. They would have been hunting people down. That's what they really want to do. This is another victory in the fight against censorship. On August 2024, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg wrote in the committee a letter admitting Biden administration pressured Facebook to censor Americans. Facebook censored Americans. Facebook throttled the Hunter Biden laptop story. Even as Meta admitted the Biden-Harris censorship was wrong, others and big tech were reluctant to go on the record. Now Google is acknowledging for the first time that it too faced censorship pressure from the Biden White House, and that pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Now, mind you, we heard the stories of how Google would get calls and get guided by people. I don't know if the CIA or the FBI or just high ups would literally call these people straight up and start applying pressure to them to remove specific channels, specific pages, specific profiles on Twitter, or shit like this, like crazy shit. Actually fucking crazy shit. We know they did this. And here's the biggest problem, right? And I was saying it before, and this is the why I don't want to hear the left when they sit there talking about some, oh, well, we go through. They don't know what the suppression's like. They don't know what suppression's like. The only time the left ever gets in trouble is when they're saying bad shit, crazy shit about trying to kill people, some shit like this. And typically they get a tap on the wrist. How many people in the center, people who were waking up on the left, conservative voices, Republican voices, were suppressed and outright erased, and will never come back to that platform, or will never get to the potential where they should be at? Again, my last channel had, when, like, just before I went red hot, right? And when I say when I was going red hot, I went red hot for like 2 months. The last video I did, I had gained, and I'm not shitting you, and this may not come off as huge to big content creators, but for a channel like mine, I went from literally 380 something subscribers, and I did 2 videos, and I knew I broke the fucking algorithm. I went through a filter because the video had no views for a whole week and some change. It had no views, and then it blew the fuck up. And it must, somebody must have seen it, and then all of the filters that I'm guessing they put on my channel, it slipped through, because the shit jumped up from 2 views, right? And I'm like, okay, it has 2 views. This video's a dud. Sure, whatever. Before I went white hot to 2,000 views one night. Then the next night, turn around, the shit's at 6,000 views, and it's like, whoa, hold the fuck up. Why did it blow up like this? And then I'm getting subscribers, and we're not talking 10 subscribers a day. I was literally getting like 30 subscribers, which again, to some people, that may seem like nothing. That may be a drop in a fucking bucket of buckets. But for a channel like mine, which tries to keep it as real as possible and as authentic as possible, right? A small nobody channel like mine blowing up like that and then being erased, being suppressed and being completely erased, where you gotta wait 3 months before a strike goes away. If you get 3 strikes, your channel's automatically gone. And every single time a strike goes off of my channel, which again, videos that existed on the channel for months were completely fine. And then every single time at 12:59 on the dot, I get a new strike. The shit was done on purpose. For other people, I could only imagine the bullshit that they went through. And even if they could rebuild, they may never tap the same potential. Maybe their time to actually become a voice of reason, of politics, or anything like this is past them now. Because those was years that they could have been building up their channel, and you took that from them. But that's not all. YouTube is making changes to its platform to prevent future censorship. YouTube is committing to the American people that it would never use outside so-called fact checkers to censor speech. No more telling Americans what to believe and not to believe. YouTube is also trying out community notes. Elon Musk was ahead of the curve. Meta followed suit, and now YouTube. And YouTube confirms that Europe is targeting American speech and innovation. Well, that's because Europe is not America. No matter how much the other countries try to shit on America, America is that bad chick in the class everybody wants to holler at. We know we bad. We know we bad. And yet, look how far we've fallen. As bad as and we're still bad. We're still the baddest. But look how far we've fallen. Imagine what those people in Europe and Canada is going through, where they can come up to your door and tell you you're going to jail for hate speech because all you did was sit there and question something, or you said something mean to somebody with multicolored hair. Crazy. YouTube warns that Europe could force companies to remove lawful social media content and could risk freedom of expression within and outside of the EU. That's right. Europe wants to censor your online speech even if you aren't in Europe. And this is why, man, see, and this is why I find it hilarious when you got, like, talk about these people over here talk about, man, I'm not gonna even say it because I think it's a fucking joke. I think it's a fucking joke when somebody from Europe tries to shit on America and then they trying to sit there and act gully when they can't even talk. They can't even talk reckless where they come from because they'll be arrested. They live in such a polite society that they're being conquered without a single bullet being fired. And they want to sit there and talk about they're gonna get their country back, their countries back, and they're not even willing to fight properly. The governments around the world are screwing everybody over. And you sit, man, whatever. Google and YouTube credit judiciary GOP for bringing transparency of accountability for big tech censorship. We will continue to hold big tech accountable. Yeah, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I come off as like the problem is this has been going on right before Trump got in office. When Trump left office and Biden took over and they was going on their megalomaniac power trip, right? When Trump goes out of office again, they're going to try to do the same fucking thing. Right, okay, right now the left is reeling, right? The left is reeling right now because they're in a really bad position because they overplayed their hand, right? Let's call it what it is. They overplayed their hand. They can't sit there and talk about they're going to be violent. We already know that they're fucking violent. We've been knew this. And the worst thing that could come to fruition has come, right? They're assassinating people. In fact, another dude who tried to assassinate Trump got caught guilty on all charges of trying to assassinate Trump. And he was in court today trying to stab himself in the neck with a pen. You know what I'm saying? We know that these people are extremely deranged and violent and dangerous. We know this. And the sad thing about it is because these platforms allow this shit to happen. Because this is the thing. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a free speech absolutist bullshit, because that's the first thing that these fucking weirdos, you know what I'm saying, on either side will try to play, right? The left will sit there and be like, this is against the Constitution, when they don't respect the Constitution. And people on the far right will sit there and be like, oh, you're taking away my freedom of speech. Bro, you literally just sat there and said you hope that all people who are not the same skin tone as you want to kill them in the race war. And you're not only do you want to kill, you claim that you wanted to kill these people, you're going inside of group meetings talking about it, and you think that that shit is acceptable. Again, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to make sense of this. I don't view Elon Musk as any different than any of these other people on the left that allowed an environment like that to even allowed an environment like that to exist, right? Because as much as they sit there and they claim, oh well, for the longest time, Twitch has allowed extremists to have a rhetoric where they're sitting there calling people Nazis and fascists, and this is making domestic terrorists and all of this other shit on college campuses and all of this other shit. What do you think allowing certain types on the right, even though they have nothing to do with the right, the far right, the ones who purposely said that they were going to infiltrate, what do you think is going to happen when you're out here and these people believe that they're not being heard, or these people are feeling consistently disrespected and they don't have an outlet? They become more and more extreme, you know? And what do you think happens when you give extremists safe spaces? What do you think is going to happen? I thought about this today, right? When my channel was hot and I was reporting on, the summer of love, and these parades where they were targeting children, the LGBT was targeting children and all of this shit. I had plenty of people coming on my page, supporting me, excited for my new videos and all of that. And now I can do a video, and now I I I think about it, and I'm just like, I know if I say certain things, people will jump on my page, and the first thing that they're gonna do is, because it's already happened multiple times, right? People have been pushed so far now that now we're getting a new element in the I notice a new element in the mix where you're getting more extremists popping up, and all that they want to do is sow division. That's their goal. So during the time that Biden was in office, when all of this crazy shit was happening, was it Trump or was it Biden? I think the first time it was Trump in office. Um, the first time Trump was in office, just before he was leaving, everything was ramping up and everything was getting bad. There was a sense of some type of unity. We wanted, everybody wanted shit to stop and for people to be held accountable, because even though Trump was in office, there was a lot of shady shit going on. People were undercutting Trump and all of this shit, right? Just like how YouTube and Facebook is doing everybody dirty, the people that they're supposed to, um, but now, that people have gone through the whole shit with Biden. It only took 4 years, 4 or 5 years for them to now be radicalized and extreme. And it's fucked up. Above the All the above are massive wins for the American people, the First Amendment and freedom. We won't stop fighting to protect free speech. I will translate, says Chuck. Google is sorry they got caught, not their actions. Google will censor again as soon as another Democrat becomes president. You're welcome. Maverick says, I am not a YouTube content creator, monetized or otherwise. Reading through these points, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that A, there is no recompense for the loss of potential revenue of the time period, and B, there is no penalty to having had engaged, oh shit, he wrote a lot. There is no penalty to having had engaged in censorship and free speech violations in accordance to the political ambitions of the Biden administration. I don't see this as a win, but rather as allowing cheaters to do their thing and then and when their efforts fail, to simply shrug to their shoulders and get a pass. Everyone can return to YouTube and be censored once again whenever the desire materializes. YouTube should be ripped away from Google. The people who engaged in the Biden administration must be investigated and prosecuted, and those in the Biden administration should also be investigated and prosecuted. We as a nation collectively suffered this grievous malfeasance, and that type of information control could have worked to render this country, could have worked to render this country hobbled under Marxist rule according to those ambitions. Subsequently destroyed, those responsible must be taken to the woodshed. Oh shit. I'm sorry, good sir. Patreon froze my account 2 years ago for drawing offensive cartoons, and I would love to testify if you guys are interested in looking into that. YouTube removed my 16-year-old channel of mostly ragtime and vintage American music in 2023 because I wrote one satire song making fun of Fauci. That channel was my life's work and they took it from me without a single warning or explanation. They denied all of my appeals. Here's the thing. They could sit there and say, oh, you can come back on the fucking the website. But if they deleted all of your account, your content, which they do, they completely scrub any work you've ever done. What the fuck is the point? So for those people who really built up, matter of fact, I don't. So do you guys remember? Do you guys remember there was like this content make creator who he built Legos, and somebody came in and I think they stole their they stole their Lego collection. Something happened with his Lego collection. It had to have been targeted, right? And he just said this happened once before, and it was so hard to start it because this was like his hobby. He was you know what I'm saying? Like that was his thing. And he said, I'm done. He said, I'm done. He was like, I can't do it anymore. When YouTube does that shit to the people, they should be held accountable much more than this, but we'll see, man. I just appealed. Well, they deleted my account entirely, so there's that. 500 videos, millions of views, 55,000 subscribers. Figures, empty words. Crazy. Crazy. Yawn, bit a little too late. Bit too little too late, don't you think? YouTube, Google, Big Tech has admitted to having been violating various rights of the country's citizens, of the rights of the country's citizens. Where are the criminal charges? Have they named who they censored and specifically why? See, that's the thing. It wasn't just big channels that they were censoring. You had to play a certain game with YouTube to not get demonetized or get strikes and shit like that back then. If you were somebody in the center or on the right, you had to play a certain game, and you had channels being taken out left and right. And if you didn't have, this is the thing, if you didn't have the stones to toss around to actually make a big fuss and make YouTube go recoil from the shit that they did, they absolutely didn't care. So if you didn't have 1 million subscribers and backers of politicians back then, your shit was gone. This is why I say imagine how many fucking channels just disappeared overnight and we will never know. And I'm not saying the crazies, fuck them. I'm not with the crazies. I'm not with the extremists. All I'm here for is the people in the center or slightly on the right or on the right that are just sitting here going, enough is enough. You're killing us with these fucking restrictions. You couldn't even speak out about it. Your shit got taken from you. Anyway, that's the video. Catch you guys next time. Peace.